Kyrie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem. Kyrie Jesu Domine.
Good morning and happy Sunday. We come to the third Sunday of Lent, Cycle A readings. We have the powerful story of the woman at the well and a profound story of conversion. And typically it's used in the rite of Christian initiation for adults as an opportunity for one of the scrutinies. And it's a remarkable story shared with us by St. John of Jesus passing through Samaritan territory, which they had to do as they went from north to south. And again, Samaritans and Jews are religious cousins who can't stand each other. Both claim to be true descendants of Abraham. The Samaritans did not accept anything post-Davidic. They don't accept anything David forward. So they're more like your really super traditional Jews. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and then that's it. They don't accept any of the prophets. They don't accept anything that comes after David, or even beginning at the time of David. Their rejection point is there's the Davidic kingdom. So when Jesus goes to a well to get a drink of water and asks the woman, she's shocked. Why would a Jew talk to a Samaritan, and why would a man publicly talk to a woman? And yet what we are told is that Jesus is thirsting for her faith because he sees the potential of conversion there. And their dialogue about water is pretty funny because you don't even have a bucket. So she's talking purely on a physical level, and he is using the physical to springboard to the spiritual throughout the whole conversation, both with the woman and with the apostles. And as their conversation goes, he's slowly revealing himself. And this is one of the things that's really rare about St. John's Gospel. Jesus more readily reveals himself as the Christ there than anywhere else. In the Synoptics, he's much more subtle about it. But again, John is coming to us from the point of view that we know Jesus is the Christ. He is proclaimed as the Christ, and here's his story. So he's taking a little different approach in his memories and what he's sharing with us, picking out those stories where Jesus is much more open about his identity as the Christ. She, of course, enters into the conversation about water. He's talking about spiritual water, faith. Talks about going back to her husband. And he basically knows her story, that she currently doesn't have a husband. She's with some guy and has had 5 before. So this woman's got a pretty serious track record. So a lot of things that would make any pious Jew avoid her or really condemn her. And Jesus does not. Jesus calls her to conversion. Says if you knew the one who was asking for a drink, you would ask him for a drink of flowing water, of life-giving water. She wants life-giving water, still thinking it's physical, not realizing it's spiritual. And then eventually their conversation leads to her acknowledging that there is a Messiah to come. You know, the Jews believe that. I guess the Samaritans heard about it. I don't know whether they believed it or not. And then she goes back to town to tell everybody about Jesus. They invite him to stay there. Meanwhile, the apostles come back. He's not hungry. They think somebody fed him. He talks about spiritual food. They're still stuck on physical food. It's almost comical. You really have to laugh at the way John tells it, because it doesn't shine them in a good light. But John's not interested in that. The only one John's interested in putting in a good light is Jesus. All the rest of us painfully obvious we need a Redeemer. We need healing. We need spiritual water to wash us clean. And that is what Jesus offers. And so that's what we're seeking on this third Sunday of Lent. Renewal in Christ by knowing Him, by listening to Him, by allowing Him to speak to our heart as He spoke to the Samaritan woman.